Pete, we appreciate it. 9:03 on your Sunday. We are counting down to Election Day, and it is a fight to the finish in multiple key races across this country. We're taking a closer look at the presidential race right now because both VP candidates made stops right here in Arizona this week to rally voters and really to try to get to people out to the polls, because we know turnout is what is going to help whoever wins in the White House. Now, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz was in Tucson and Flagstaff this weekend, reliably blue cities, talking abortion rights and the economy. And Ohio Senator J.D. Vance held a rally in Scottsdale Saturday afternoon. These were likely their final stops in Arizona ahead of Election Day.
We're in a very, very good spot in Arizona, but I don't want us to get lazy, and I don't want us to rest on our laurels here, because right now, we've got a big advantage in the state of Arizona.
While he talked about a big advantage, polls show that essentially the candidates are actually tied right now. Vance spoke for about 25 minutes, outlining the Trump campaign's policy plans when it comes to the southern border, the economy, and affordable housing, as well as criticizing the Biden-Harris administration. Republican Senate candidate Kari Lake also spoke at the rally, encouraging attendees to head to the polls if they haven't already voted. The polls are closed today. There's emergency voting tomorrow in Maricopa County, and then you can vote on Election Day. We'll have that in just moments, but here is Governor Tim Walz.
We're winning this thing. We're winning this thing. Now it's not won yet. It's not won yet, but think of the privilege. Over the next 72 hours, we get to shape not just the next 4 years, but generations to come.
Confidence on both sides of the aisle, as you can hear. But again, essentially, those polls showed it's a split race. That was Minnesota Governor Tim Walz in Flagstaff and also in Tucson for those rallies. Yesterday, he talked about the economy, abortion access, and Trump's previous 4 years in office. Other Coconino County leaders were in Flagstaff as well, including Jonathan Nez, who was there to show his support.
9:05, the question now, are you prepared to vote on Tuesday? What if you still have your mail-in ballot at home and you're thinking, okay, what do I need to do this morning? If you have questions, we have answers about a lot of the things that you may be thinking about today. So joining us this morning to talk all things elections and any question you may have is Tom Collins, the Executive Director for the Arizona Citizens Clean Election Commission. Good morning, Tom. Appreciate you being here on a Sunday.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me.
So we've got 6 common questions that people have been asking you and other people have been wondering, and we're going to put the questions up on your screen. We're going to start with the first one is, what if I still have that ballot? I procrastinated and I still have that at home. What do I need to do?
Okay, so if you get up today and you see that you still got one of these green envelopes, which is your ballot affidavit, you're going to put your ballot in it, you're going to sign it, and you're going to take it to a drop box or a voting location and turn it in. If you put it in the mail, it's not going to get there in time and it's not going to count.
Okay, so you've got to physically drop it off.
Carry it in.
The next question we've got up on your screen right now, what if I'm still in line at 7 p.m. on Election Day? So we know on Tuesday the polls open 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's 7 p.m. I got off work late. I make it just in time, but there's still a line.
You're going to be able to vote. I mean, the polls close, but if you're in line at 7, you're going to get a chance to vote.
Okay, so you don't have to worry about getting there at 6:58.
I mean, that's where the internet meme "remain in line" comes from.
There we go. Okay, next question. This is a long ballot. Do I need to vote in every race on the ballot? Because it is time consuming to research everything, and maybe you just don't have time and there's only a few races you want to vote on.
You know, we get this question a lot, and the answer is, although we encourage everybody to vote the whole thing, you don't have to. So if you're hung up and you just need to move on, you don't have to complete the whole ballot. Every race you vote will be counted.
Okay, another question you said you're hearing a lot of. I've heard the ballot is really long. That is true.
Yeah.
So what does this mean for people who are going in on Election Day and they haven't yet taken a look at the entire ballot?
Okay. So what it means is you're going to have to give it some time. Ordinarily, because so many people in Arizona vote by mail, you know, our lines are typically not very long. This year might be a little different. We've got the most ballot measures since 2006, and so that means that you need to book some time, because it's going to take people, it may take people 20 minutes to get through this whole thing. I voted early in person on Friday, you know, and it takes people time to get through that whole ballot. There's also, as your colleague mentioned, there's emergency voting in Maricopa County on Monday. If you had an emergency that has developed since Friday and can't make it on Monday, you can vote in an emergency fashion.
Okay, so that is what you need to do about what this means with the long ballot research, and then you can print off a sample ballot, right, and bring that in?
Absolutely. I would recommend you do it. In fact, you can go on the website, or if you should have gotten one in the mail from the county, and absolutely fill that out, take a cheat sheet. It's an open book test.
Okay, open book test. Next question, what ID do you need? Sometimes people are like, oh, goodness, I don't know where my driver's license is. So what do people need as far as identification goes?
So your driver's license or state ID, that's going to get you in, no problem if it has a current address. If you don't, you've got a range of options. If you have, for example, 2 non-photo IDs, like a utility bill from the last 90 days and a bank statement, those are going to work, or a combination. If you have a passport and a utility bill, those are going to get you in. What we're trying to establish is that you are who you say you are, so those documents, and you can look at our website and we have a tool that'll help you identify it. If you don't have your driver's license, you can use them.
Okay, if you're like, where's that driver's license? I thought I left it in the wallet and it's not there. That's good information. And then this is a big thing people always want to know. When are we going to get the results? We've been talking about it for, gosh, years, but when are we going to know who wins?
Well, so at 8 p.m. on election night, we're going to first see the first drop of ballots. That's all the early votes that have been counted already. Boom, that's the first thing out of the gate. Later that night, we'll see day of ballots. And then as the county recorders are processing ballots that came in later, but by 7 p.m. on election day, they're checking the signature against the voter file to make sure those are good. That takes time, and that's what slows up the time it takes for ultimately, the media and its partners to make calls on the races. The official canvass isn't for a couple weeks after that.
And we'll talk about the canvas, obviously, in the weeks to come. But Tom Collins with Arizona Clean Elections, we appreciate you joining us on a Sunday. Again, asking you, you are helping us to answer some of the big questions that people might have. Because, Whitney, when you have millions of people voting, you know that everybody's bound to have a question or two. And you've got to look at just how many polling locations are going to be open on Election Day here in Maricopa County.
Yeah, nearly 2.6 million registered voters in Maricopa County, rather. Now, the majority of them are on that early voting list. More than 1 million ballots have already been returned in Maricopa County so far. But maybe you're watching this and you're thinking, you know what? I need to go vote in person. So there are no polls open today on Sunday in Maricopa County, but there is emergency voting tomorrow on Monday. So this is for people that have some kind of emergency, as you just heard Tom talk about. Maybe you can't vote on Tuesday, but you can do that on Monday. So we're giving you a look at some of those locations. So there's more than 50 locations that will be open tomorrow, again, for that early voting. You're seeing all these closed signs because they are closed today. However, come Election Day, there will be at nearly 250 vote centers open across Maricopa County. So this is going to look much different. And it doesn't matter where you live. You can go to any of these vote centers. So we're going to talk more about these frequently asked questions. So maybe you did mail in your ballot. Maybe you dropped it off at one of the vote centers. If you want to know how your ballot was counted, you can text JOIN to 628-683. This is a link on the Maricopa County Elections website. We also have this on our website, azfamily.com. You're also going to find a voter's guide. This is also free in our AZ Family News app. So we talk about the statewide ballot measures. There are a lot on there, as you heard Tom and Kylie talk about. It's going to take you some time to fill out this ballot, but we do have you covered, making it easy for you. Again, just go to azfamily.com/politics/voters guide, and you'll find everything that you need to know. We're trying to make this as easy as possible for you come Election Day.